Here with Gurudev, and oh, I don't know, where should I have that? Where you had it, right? Okay, Jai Srila Gurudev Ki Jai. Ooh. Hare Krishna. Yeah.
You're an American citizen.
I am. I came to America in 1970 to marry. My marriage was arranged. So I just went to the Detroit Temple and married my husband the next day. Well, your name is what again? I mean, seriously, I didn't remember it. Someone and be happy and just get on with your spiritual life. Yeah. So that was fun.
Was so kind of really happy. Her husband was going named
Prasad.
From who? Prasad?
Exactly. You heard that lecture. You heard that talk in Thailand, maybe.
No, she told me.
Oh my God.
You know, when because I got initiated in 2001. So you know, I came here when I was 50 years old.
Yeah.
You know, and but
Right.
but it
pretty
was
amazing.
but yeah, she said
Yeah.
she's also happy because
Yeah.
that because his name's Rashad and that's high, you know. So, and then when she heard his name, she goes, oh.
That's funny.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that was such a funny lecture. She talked about that in Thailand. That she thought her husband to be was called Prasad Das. So hilarious. Do you guys have any questions that you want to ask? Oh, all right. Are we ready to start? Okay.
This kind of came into my mind from a conversation with Rai this morning, sorry. But we had this conversation around the idea of a sincere quest that everyone has, that it's kind of perpetually you're working towards being aligned with that. And a question I gave to Jake and Haley and some of the others was, how do you think that the masses as a whole over time have fallen further from that alignment with their sincere quest? That there's such a large mass of people that are either not in line with that quest or are maybe not even aware that that's an option.
It's well. I don't exactly know what she meant by sincere quest, but I think she means the ultimate, like, highest goal of the soul.
That's what it sounded like, yeah.
Like that,
Mhm.
right?
Like follow your path. Like the Gita says, like you have to follow your path.
Who says?
In the Gita,
Oh.
it says like you have to follow your path. Right.
So this is actually a really huge question. And it covers a tremendous amount of scope of the Veda, of the original, like, revealed scriptures. So in this lifetime, this is not the beginning of our existence. Like, in fact, there's never been a time when you didn't exist. But we're going through so many circumstances, life after life after life, and there's a whole system of why you come into a certain circumstance, and how in human life we can step back from our situation and go, what's going on here? Who am I and why is this happening? That's really what distinguishes us from animal life, is kind of like this ability to ask a question about what am I supposed to be doing here. So during the huge, like, inconceivable cyclical passage of time, it's cyclical, like seasons, and it's huge. Like, this age is so many hundreds of thousands of years, and this is the short age. And then it goes around again, like huge spanses of time, millions and millions of years, to the Satya Yuga, which is the first season, and the Treta Yuga, the Dwapara Yuga, and then again to this Yuga. Yuga means age, and it's cyclical. But during that time, during those huge spanses of time, there's a certain atmosphere within the plane of illusion. This is all the plane of illusion, which we probably should talk about a little bit more. But so I am getting to your question. So in the Satya Yuga, which is the average lifespan is 100,000 years. The way to come into connection with the ultimate path is through meditation. But that meditation would be 10,000 years at a sitting. If they would go under the water, and everyone did it, just go into the ocean or into the mountains or something, and just go deep into this meditational stage and let some truth come in. You're supposed to stop interfering with so many desires. Well, I got to do this, and I have to make sure that my wife is happy, my husband's happy, my kids, but to start your life out, you just come into a plane of being able to download some finer information. And that was the process of that age. We can't do that in this age. We don't even live long enough to get comfortable, and we can't control our minds at all. That the mind is just like, whoa. Then in the Treta Yuga, it was the Treta Yuga is puja, sacrifice. So they would have these humongous sacrifices that would take years, and they were very opulent, and all of the opulence of the world was offered in sacrifice to the deity. But again, that deity is conceived of in different levels. And I am getting to this question, but it's just this wide perspective about this. So not even everyone knew about the personality of Godhead, because there's in the ocean of Vedic religion is humongous, and so much detail about all different kinds of trajectories and possible goals, and most of it is mundane. You could say 90 or more percent. It's religion. It's Dharma. Right. It's like most of it is, I want to enjoy a finer kind of life so that I become religious and I come to enjoy in the heavenly planes, which is materialistic, really. Or I just want out of here. I'm going to follow some path of gyan. I'm going to say, this is not real, this is relative, this truth is not absolute, and then I'm just going to bring my consciousness up to a plane where it's all gone. And then in the next yuga, the Dwapara Yuga, was temple worship. Very elaborate, like bringing your offerings to the deity, and so on and so on and so on. Again, the deities are of so many levels. And then in this age, where we hardly live long enough to get ourselves together, it's the easiest age and the highest, the highest attainment. So the Dharma for the Kali Yuga is that chanting, the Hare Krishna mantra. So and it brings about the easiest purification of the heart, and the easiest path of freedom from the pain of this world. But so in terms of how long how much have we deviated from that? It's cyclical. But what is been given in this particular age, and this is in the scriptures, that once in a tremendously long period of time, thousands of cycles of those ages, the Lord comes and gives the Hare Krishna mantra in the Kali Yuga, in this Yuga, but it is imbued with his own feeling of worshiping devotion. So God himself is worshiping devotion. Devotion is so high that the Lord himself, seeing that in the highest form, he is taking that on. He wants to feel that. So that is not that kind of understanding and feeling, and what to speak of trajectory or possible attainment, you can see through these processes of practices that that's not available. It's not the trajectory of meditation. It's not the possibility from meditation. It's not the possibility from sacrifice or temple worship or even the Hare Krishna mantra in most of the Kali Yugas. So taking all that information in, meanwhile, back at the ranch means here I am, I'm a soul, I'm sitting here, I'm identifying with my body, even though it's the most absurd thing to do because we know it's going to be gone. And little worms are going to be coming through the eye, it's like, who the heck am I? I am the observer of this body. I'm the observer of my mind. I say my mind. Who's saying that? Who am I? Who is saying my mind? Who's saying my body? So here I am, but somehow or other, the Hare Krishna mantra, imbued with this extraordinary gift, is all around me. And I can practice that. And so if someone takes a real, broad view of the whole gamut of religious thought, meaning mystic yoga, non-differentiated plane of freedom, and the plane of positive service to the Lord, and all the planes of that, this Hare Krishna mantra is almost too good to be true. And this is like a really serious study of religion. And any book of religious thought can be woven into there easily, and it is just astonishing. So here we are in the Kali Yuga. I only live for a couple of minutes. I'm always disturbed, like, how am I going to pay my rent? I don't know. And the atmosphere is very distressing. And somehow or other, simply through divine sound and the process called Sharanagati, my inner wealth as a soul can be awakened to a degree that is actually, you could say, not possible. But it's just what the Lord can give, and he gave it. And this is really scientific. So I was trying to get that big cyclical thing there to understand how we've deviated. I mean, in terms of religion, where we are now in the world is like, it's just like, And the Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita, in the mode of ignorance, what is, worshipped as being very exalted is actually super degraded. And what is actually exalted looks like a fairy tale. So it's very difficult for us in terms of religion to make much progress. But this goes far beyond religion. And I don't know if I've been clear at all in this answer. There is something way beyond religion where you're not making a deal with the Lord. There is such a thing as pure devotion that has no motive. It's like, I'm worshiping you, God, now what am I going to get? Or we think of God as the one who should just behave himself, sit in the church and do stuff that I want him to do. Because I prayed. You know, it's not a very nice relationship with anyone. I mean, I wouldn't want that relationship with you. That, oh, you know, hey, how you doing? You probably have a lot of money, and yay, man. Yeah, yeah. I mean, come on, it's so gross. But you wouldn't notice that were it not for something higher. Because I loved religion when I was a kid. I mean, I just loved it. I couldn't get enough of that holy feel, you know, those holy feelings and holy songs, and oh, it was just so nice, and doing something for someone and then they're happy, and oh, you know, I just love that sort of thing. But now that we've come in some kind of astonishing universal gift of this, what is being shown to us through the Hare Krishna mantra, it doesn't look nice at all. It looks, the word that comes to my, I shouldn't say that. It looks a bit savage. Only because there's something so much better to give now. You can please give me some feedback if I'm not being clear at all. But this is a huge answer. And it's true that in terms of piety, in terms of religion, in terms of knowing what's right and wrong, in terms of regularity of life, in terms of cleanliness, truthfulness, self-giving, all these things, we're in the bottom of the pit pretty much right now. But what Mahaprabhu came to give, of his experiencing what is the highest plane of devotion and distributing that, that's way beyond any of those things. It will automatically bring the highest atmosphere to the world.
And you can be in that just by being around people who have that.
Yeah, it's so easy, actually. It's not easy in one sense because we have to face our own ego. In order to come to the atmosphere of pure devotion, all the other little atmospheres that I'm used to living with have to go. That part's not easy. And there's a secret about that. And that is the whole atmosphere of all existence is divine. But because my relationship with that is wrong, in other words, I'm exploiting it, I can't see it, and I can't come in touch with it. But when we begin to see that all the situations of my life, like the stuff I really don't want to happen, is good, and I bow down to that, we begin to feel that because we change from it in ways that we couldn't have made ourselves change. So there is nothing bad but my I. My own relationship is wrong with existence. And so we are practicing to see how the Lord is present everywhere. You know, did you ever hear that when you were a kid? God is everywhere. I could not wrap my head around that. I mean, I really tried. Everywhere, like a little God everywhere. I mean, like I just couldn't understand it at all. But his divine will, I mean, everything is his. It's not like there's this place here that's not his. It's just there's a plane of consciousness where I don't have to know that. But it's called illusion. So the whole of all of existence can be shown to us to be very affectionate and made of a higher thing than I am made of. And so that is the supreme yoga given in the Bhagavad Gita, where that's the quintessential yoga scripture given by the Lord himself. And finally he's saying, Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja ahang tvang sarvapapebhyo moksha ishyami ma shucha. Ma shucha means don't worry, I got you. You don't have to do this. If you just let me do it, I will remove everything out of you that is nasty, that is undesirable by you, that you don't even know is there. You can't recognize it. You've been friends with that thing for a long time, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, what was that? You know, he can show everything through the environment, through the actions of what comes to me. You know, like poking. I always give this analogy, but I really love it. I was in Italy one year, and all the people go on vacation in Italy in the summertime. You practically can't find a doctor or anything. So the dentist was there, but his assistant wasn't there, so I didn't get an x-ray. And he took out his little hammer and just clunked on each one of my teeth till he found the right one. And it was like I saw stars. It was so liquid. But, you know, I mean, I didn't like take him to court or something. I had to pay him to do that. And I was grateful, very grateful to him for that. So we have to at least have as much faith in the Lord as we have in a dentist. That it might hurt, but if we consciously bow down and say, yes, this is good for me, my Lord. This is good for me. And I bow down to you. Please show me how are you engaging me now? What is my service? Our angle of vision can deeply change from that one little act. But it's an ongoing battle, because don't forget, the ego is like, you know, and that same lesson may have to come a few times. But without that, we basically don't ever learn our lessons. We don't even know what they are. So, what that verse means is, Sarva Dharma Parityajya, all this Dharma, this ocean of Dharma that came from me, the Vedas, the scriptures, they're all coming from me. But it's just for this gradual, you know, like, there's a scripture that says you shouldn't rape your mother. I mean, nobody's going to argue about that. But Krishna's not telling Arjuna you shouldn't rape your mother. I mean, that wouldn't come... Arjuna would, like, die if he even heard such a thing. That wasn't even possible to come into someone's mind in that culture. It couldn't. So there's this gradual development in Scripture. But he's saying all that huge ocean, just leave it, forget it. Forget all about that. Just come to me. I'm right here. I am the closest thing to you ever. Just surrender to me. And ahang tvang sarva papebhyo. Ahang means I, tvam means you, sarva papebhyo means all this like illusion, trickiness, cheating, all this stuff we do all day long. I'm going to take that out of you. Don't worry. So this is what Mahaprabhu came to teach, and to give us even more connection through the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, imbued with pure devotion. So we don't even have to worry about anything else. Personally, each one of us, has to practice this and feel that experience and gradually move through all the layers of that practice. And it's surprising what a day can bring. And then, like I said, in the quintessential yoga scripture, this is the supreme yoga. It's personal. And it's an exciting adventure. And there's no other adventure worth having I can see all those guys out in this, out on the, surfboards. And I always think, wow, just that little bit of dopamine, that little bit of adrenaline. It's like, and then it's over and, yeah, I had a great day. But we psych ourselves up and then we die. And there's just no adventure really worth its weight, So, so we have to look deeply in what is my real fortune? What can I gain in this world, in this lifetime? Maybe that was a longer answer there. But, so it's this wide, this kind of knowledge is so, it's not wide, it's absolute and all harmonizing and all encompassing. There's not a thing that it cannot be harmonized, nothing. It's all wondrous because
It's even self-harmonizing.
self-harmonizing. The Lord is harmony personified.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
So, like, from the far distance of me and my all the ego, all the stuff of the accumulation of all the tendencies and the biases and like all the stuff, how can I just step in to what you're speaking of and just stay locked in and just stay there?
Well, it's gradual.
But like, can I just
let me
step
tell you,
into a
it's really
Nityananda,
gradual.
open that gate, and Gurudev is like, it's we have like the proximity that's inconceivable. Because of that proximity, we can just be, we're just in it, even.
Yeah.
So we're in it, and what you're speaking, it's like you're giving that to us. It's a system, it's a science, but because of the association, actually, we're just there.
Association is like supremely important. And we're worshiping Gurudev, whose association has no flaw. There is such a person. When we lose track of the fact that there is such a thing as a pure person, we'll lose everything. We will have nothing by which to measure anything. When truth and purity disappear from the conscious plane of this world, we're in chaos. Because we will have nothing by which to measure anything. What will the word dishonest mean if we have no conception of honesty? So when we come to the conception of pure honesty, absolute no hypocrisy, no like, I'm so nice. It's all hypocrisy everywhere, right? It's all like, there's cheating a lot, that's what we do. That's how we do things. But when there is a pure soul that comes and shows that quality to the world, then our prospect becomes like so high. And we must know that exists. We can't let that go and become jaded, because that's going to happen later on in this age. It always does.
I'm looking for a shortcut for people who just come in. And I'm just saying this because I'm hearing you speak, and it's just people who just step into like this Govinda Mela, let's say, and they just step in and they're hearing about all these super high, advanced things, scientific, just divine reality, just so many things, all the things you're speaking, and it's like, but I feel so far away. I know there's a way you can just click in. Like for myself, well, whatever, but so...
No, I do understand what you're saying. And it's something that the thing is, when we understand what a journey we're going to take, so first of all, we have to know where we are on the map. Otherwise, the map is useless. So here I am, this is my situation. And then there's a journey to this, as we can conceive of it, really pure, actually devoted, unhypocritical life of supreme truth and loving exchange with the absolute reality. But it's a journey. But the main thing is surrender. And we sing it every single day about Shri Krishna Chaitanya Jive Doya Koro, Kori. And he's saying, Antyanta Durlabha Prema Karibari Dana. What did he come to give? What did he come to give? Shikaye Sharanagati, vakatera prana. He gave the process of surrender. And what is that? That is the life of the devotee. Because otherwise, our practice will be just doing stuff. We do stuff. We do this and this, and then in the evening we do this and that, and then this we're bowing down here, and we play this, and we jump around. Huh? Yeah. But this surrendering is the life of these processes. These processes are valuable. But without surrender, there's no connection. Our relationship with God is surrender. What else is it going to be? But that surrender is like allowing Him to embrace me. When I have an inborn kind of, how come I'm not God kind of feeling. We're all like little gods here.
We're
right?
all narcissists.
Wait a minute, how come he got to be God? And so through surrender, we start to feel some presence of something sweeter and more conquering than the ego. Otherwise, we'll never give up the ego. Even the mystic yogis who have, I mean, this is lifetimes after lifetimes of practice of drilling the breath. There's a beautiful, I'm not forgetting your question.
No, you answered that, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, well, that's good. But I'm just saying that there's this ancient book called Brahma Samhita, and it is really the oldest book in the world. They can't find the origin of it. It's just extremely ancient. And one of the verses is Pantastu koti shatavatsara sampragamyo vayoratapi manaso muni pungavanam sopyasti aprapadasimya vichincha tattve Govinda Mari purusham tamaham bhajami. And this is Brahma speaking. In each cycle of creation, the most qualified person in that universe who's so like really like followed all the religious practices perfectly for hundreds of lifetimes, he takes the responsibility of making the arrangements for every soul to be in the body that they need at the time. So this is the creator. God doesn't do that personally. He's really busy just being wonderful. He doesn't have any job to do, really. But so Brahma is describing this system of mystic yoga and Gyan yoga, like Gyan. I'm going to know everything. I'm going to know what everything is, and then I'm going to leave and be nothing. That's a process. But he's saying all that. So Pantastu koti shatavatsara sampragamyo means for thousands of millions of years of practice, Vayor, drilling the breath, controlling the breath. Atapi manaso, controlling the mind. Those who are really good at that, the Muni Pungavanam, the Munis of wonderful attainment, very rare. So pyastya prapadasimnya vichincha tattve. That means that they can only come to the outskirts of the tips of the toes of the Lord. So these are really, I mean, these guys can walk on water, they can make themselves really tiny, they can make themselves really big, they can travel at the speed of the mind. But so what for what? Yippee! You know, I mean, it's impressive, but I mean, is that what we're looking for?
Surface de Soleil.
Yeah. There's a funny story. This we heard it in a village in India. This boy goes off to learn mystic yoga, you know, and he's doing this for a long, long time. He comes back. He's a grown man. He's developed some skills, and they all go, "Oh, what can you do? Can you walk on water?" He says, "I can." And he walks on the water. He walks across the river, and the old boatman goes, "I could have taken them across for 1 paisa," which is like 2 cents. So when we begin to like really see the full gamut of religiosity from these incredible books, then you can see what's what. Where's the real value in a thing that we can get really caught up in? And there's even much more than that. But, you know, and to find, so Lord Brahma is saying, don't do that. I'm the one who can empower you to do that, but don't do that. Don't do that mystical thing. Don't waste your time with that. Mysticism is automatically given to a Vaishnava if it's required for his service. And, you know, so and these are the original books, like the handbook of the universe. Like, don't do that. Oh, you want to do that? You can do that. I'm telling, but he's saying, don't do that. You want to come into the non-differentiated plane of existence? Are you here next? Oh, Prabhu, I didn't know. Ah, okay, so is it time right now? Oh, is it? Oh, oh, right, because the you know what happened? Yeah, everything went forward a half hour. That's what happened. Yeah, I was thinking, yeah, because of the late prasadam and everything. So is that okay with you? We'll just go a little bit further. Okay. Anyway, so we're just practicing this. And because it's a battle, there are so many levels of illusion within us.
There's what?
So many levels of illusion. And there's a time when you have some experience to go to the next thing. And the Lord will send that. He'll send the next one. That's part of Sharanagati. Knowing that everything will come in the right time. You know? It will.
It's hard to let go.
Yeah. It's hard to let go.
Even when you're on the spiritual path, we're still holding on to so many, like, I can do this, I got this,
Yeah.
I'll figure this out.
Yeah. And we're utilizing our situation. But we're utilizing what we're good at, you know, what we can do, what we can offer. But in the middle of that, so many experiences will come. And it's not that, like the Gyanis, I'm just going to suddenly disappear and I'm not going to be anything. But at the same time as we are losing our illusions, we are gaining, because of surrender, gaining experience in the divine plane. The Gyanis are just trying to get out, but they have no positive experience. It's horrifying, and it's really difficult, very dry, and in the end, what? You're just like in a coma. Just like you're just not here and not there. Have you ever heard of that before? That plane of existence, non-differentiated Brahman. It's one of the possible attainments in.
It's like this white light.
Yeah, that
Oh.
white light that people were talking
Pure
about.
dark.
Huh?
Is this like Nirvana?
Nirvana would be so, I mean, that's a kind of a question, but the Nirvana plane is called Viraja. And the upper portion of that same plane is called Brahman. So the Viraja is the kind of, when consciousness starts to come into matter, it first comes through a sort of watery substance. It's not actually water. Water comes later. But it's a kind of malleable substance. And that plane, that is called Viraja. And the soul goes through that in the first shadowy, I don't know who I am kind of world. So that's, and then in the upper part of that is called Brahman, which is spiritual. It means that's what I am. But beyond that is the world of giving, the world of spiritual attainment. And that's Vaikuntha. And that's Adhokshaja. That's beyond that Brahman plane. And that Brahman plane is where we came from. That's where we originate. That's where the soul comes from in the beginning.
We descended to the material plane.
Yeah, we had that
And then
kind
we
of
have to-
notion.
yeah.
That looks good to me.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, that was the number one. So if I remember Goswami Maharaj saying, people say, if I knew then what I knew now, I wouldn't have. Well, you do know now what you know now, so what are you going to do? But this is just a humongous subject, and there's a little patience that's required.
I'm not bad.
Just a little.
You guys saw my phone.
Because you just can't immediately, you read a book about swimming and then you go swim across the ocean. It's not going to be like that. But that patience is required in Sharanagati, like we were saying. It's really important.
And I think, too, the direct access, just on state, that's sadhu sangha.
Yeah,
When you have real sadhu sangha and the mood is there, it's like, it's just on. If you can keep that sadhu sangha, and even from a distance,
very
like,
important.
it's just on. You're just there.
But still there will be patience. Like, for example, like yesterday we were talking about Gurudev, or the day before maybe, and it takes time. We do not know Gurudev yet. As we can make some progress, especially in the mood of surrender, as some little we feel some progress, right? That's a little bit more understanding who Gurudev is.
Isn't that quote like from Guru Maharaj, on our journey towards the infinite, it might be a little longer than we originally expected?
Yeah. And he also said this is not a path strewn with roses. It's a battlefield. But at least we know who our enemy is now.
What we're fighting for.
We know that the enemy is all. When we start that battle, then we start going, wow, how was I living with that thing so long? Right? We've all had this experience, right? Because when there's light, then you can see. And the light is coming from the heart of the Vaishnava and the holy name of the Lord. Otherwise you can't see. You can't see what's wrong. You don't know what's wrong with you. I said, oh, because of that, there's all these guys over there, and I hate the Protestants, and I hate the Catholics, and the Russians, and this, and that. And we're pointing out all the reasons why we're suffering, but it's actually not good. Even if all those went away and we go to heaven, we're still suffering. And when you spend that thousands of billions of years in the heavenly planes of good reactions to pious activities, you die and you still don't know who you are. So this is so beautiful to see this huge perspective on what is possible for the soul. What is our highest possible attainment? And not to get caught up in the eddies and whirlpools of this and that. And especially Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, do not get caught up in the whirlwind of unfortunate events. We can get so caught up in, oh, that shouldn't have happened. And, oh. You can die in that mood. Instead, we bow down and just say, this is your medicine for me right now. It is good for me, my Lord. I don't know how it's good for me. I don't know where you're taking me. I've never been there. I don't know. But simply by that act, simply by bowing down and saying yes, a shift in the angle of vision can come that is quite surprising. You can suddenly see the enemy as the best thing that ever happened to you. It was the thing that was sent. It's divine. And there is not a single atom that is not divine. It is just my... because I want to aggress, I want to be the aggressor in this environment, I cannot come in contact with it. We cannot be an aggressor in divinity. There is no aggressor in divinity. There's only one. And he's the Lord. He's lawless. He's put all the laws in charge for the bad guys. We're the ones who have to follow the law. He doesn't have to follow any law. Nothing he does is wrong. It's a whole, like fainting, like falling over, gorgeously sweet. Like, oh, like I can't even, not me, but we know these great saints, they faint when they think of his qualities. The greatest personalities who have ever lived will faint when they think of the qualities of God. Because they're overwhelming. And he's the aggressor, and he's the autocrat. There's only one autocrat, the one who can never do anything wrong, whose very movements are all beautiful. And we have to practice that now. Seeing that now, why we're going to wait till when? We have to believe this. It's really a battle, though, because that ego goes, nope, not having it. Not that one. No, not having it. And then it comes again. It's like, no, no, not going to do that. And then eventually, okay, my Lord, this is good for me. And then all of a sudden, oh, I'm the bad guy. I was the one who was making all the trouble. Like, oh, that person's like this and they're like that. And oh my God, what an egotist. And then they're really bugging me every day. And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, you've said this. You got the little hammer. You're the one who's doing this. Bow down. And you're like, oh, I'm the egotist. I was the one who was making all the trouble. So it can be a little, is there any other question before I keep blabbing?
I feel like sometimes love could be selfish because you tell someone you love them and you expect for them to say it back.
Yeah.
So how can we like practice more of like loving without any expectation in return?
There's only one way to do that, and that's to put the supreme lovable object in the center of every relationship. Because we are like trying to be many objects of love. I mean, really? Like, I'm so lovable. Like on Facebook, you're always putting your right good side, You don't take a picture of yourself when you first get out of bed, It's all lies. This thing is like gross. If you peel back the skin, you'll vomit. I'm sorry. Sorry, I didn't mean to say vomit. I mean, it's gross. We're using this thing, we're putting it on the market and seeing what we can get for it, right? And that's not honest. But it's okay. We are living in this plane. We're not going to just jump out of it instantly. But how to be a friend? Just utilize the person while they're dying and then I die, and what did I give to that person? Once we have some knowledge, we are helping each other progress in something real. Then love can develop. Because love can come in the heart where the Lord is being worshipped in between two people. Otherwise, what is it? Right? I mean, if you think about it, just I like you, meaning you got what I want. Do I what you want? I hope so, otherwise. It's gross. It's like, going to market where there's a swap meet, I'm putting my stuff out on the marketplace and you got your stuff out in the let's make a deal, Oh, actually, I'm not sure about that, and I think I'm giving you more than you're giving me. And it's just not going to work out because the soul wants an ocean of joy. And we are not oceans of joy. Let's admit it, I am not going to fulfill all of the desires of anybody. And this is, it's just not going to work that way. But that doesn't mean all of a sudden we're just going to throw that whole thing in the garbage. But we want to be a friend to that person. You know, a real friend. If I have $1 million and I give my friend, a loving penny, this is cheating, right? You're not, So we are trying to get some real wealth and trying to share it with everybody that we meet. So there's where love can happen. And as that heart is getting purified through the process of surrender in the holy name, more and more we will give. And that interpersonal relationship will become universal. And there's progress. And we want that for our friends. These are hard habits to deal with. These are the deep ones. Maybe I have a habit of eating too much sugar. That's not so hard. But these deep ones of, kama, krodha, lobha, these really hard ones, dharma, artha, kama, moksha, all these really deep things in us, they take time. But at least we know of a better way. And it will be gradual. It's not going to happen overnight, but we have some way, some idea of how to be in an honest relationship. It's going to take time. But we keep hearing, and give yourself time. Because if we think, overnight I should have this, we're going to get frustrated, and we're going to go to something that's easier. Like some guru is going to put a thing there and say that you're the incarnation of Cleopatra or whatever. I don't know what they say these days. We don't want to cheat ourselves. It's going to take time, but we keep hearing of a higher prospect, a more honest life, a sweet life of actual devotion. In the scriptures you can hardly find a description of devotion, of real devotion. Meaning, I'm absorbed in wanting to give my entire existence to you. I can't give enough. And Gurudev says, but instead of disappearing, you become more, the golden self becomes more developed, more love develops in you. That is a life of eternal progress and eternal surrender. It's not the thing, this linear thing where I get there and then I'm there and I got there, and you put the flag and then you're like, so what's on TV tonight? It's like, wah, wah. It's not, it's eternal because the Lord is infinite. And it's constant reciprocation. And we are really so, Mahaprabhu is dancing and he wants the whole universe to dance with him. And we want to be part of that. Part of giving something to every living being that I can see, trying to give something wonderful. And even just taking prasadam, so many living things are giving benefit. So why not live that kind of life where you really do become the friend of everyone? Not, because you're serving the center of that person and they're feeling it. The atmosphere of service, you feel it, right? You come in here, it's like, whoa. This, you come into a temple and you're like, whoa. Like when people come in at plumbers in the Salt Lake Temple and they're like, what is this place? It's so peaceful here. Like it has an atmosphere. There's an atmosphere that it is affecting the world. Is that a good? Are there any other questions or anything that anyone would like to talk about? I know Jagannatha Prabhu is going to speak now, and but I don't even know if I said anything that made any sense. Yeah. It's a gradual thing. We're learning the absolutely most fine kind of subject matter in the Veda. And the Veda is, there's nothing not in there. I mean, the science of military strategy, medicine, I mean, everything's all in there. It's like the law. But the finer and finer and finer scriptures is what we're studying. And not only studying to learn knowledge, but to be taken up in the arms of great personalities and to be given some work by them. Guru Maharaj said our highest prospect is to be utilized by some beautiful person, a descending person who can use me for his purpose, which is so sweet, such a sweet life for us. Anyway, Jai Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. All the assembled devotees ki Jai. Govinda Mela ki Jai. Srimati Tulsi Devi ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Haribol. But I didn't mean to stop. Was there anything else at all? Anything? All right. Oh yeah, okay. Do we have any mridanga or anything? Oh. Oops. Wow, this is... you might have to...
Oh, I've seen these. They've been flying around. It's just comical every time.
Okay, well that's okay. Oh, no, these are fine.
Yoga to play them.
Huh?
The kind of yoga to play them.
Yeah, you have to like make sure you don't drop them.
Message from the divine is hiding. Try and leave.
Is it moving? oh yeah, thank you. Hi. I don't think if I can you lead?
Okay.
Hari Hari.
Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Hari Hari Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan.
Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan.
Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan.
Hey Gopinath Madana Mohan. Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra. Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath. Jiva Gopala Bhatta Das Raghunath. Hey Jai Gosai Kori Charana Vanda. Jai Te Vignana Sabisapura. Hey Jai Gosai Jamui Tarada. Sansabara Pada Renu Mora Panchaga. Sandhya Charana Sevi Bhakta Saneva. Janame Janame More Abhilash. Gosai Jamui Tarada Chansvara Para Renu Mor Banchagra Sai Gosai Jabe Bhaje Koilaba Nitya Leela Koila Prata Krishna Nitya Leela Koila Prata Anande Bola Hari Bata Vrindavan 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 Guru Vaishnava Pade Madhyama Guru Vaishnava Pade Madhyama Guru Vaishnava Pade Madhyama Guru Vaishnava Pade Madhyama Nam Sankirtana Kare Hari Nam Sankirtana Kare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Jai Safarika Shishi Guru Gauranga Gandharika Giri Dhari Juki Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Seva Ashram Ki Jai Worldwide Ashrams Ki Jai Srila Bhakti Siddhar Govinda Devi Yes Ki Jai Srila Bhakti we did all
Go Premanande.
Jai Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Samadhi Mandir Ki Jai Srila Bhakti Vakak Shri Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Our Divine Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Grantra Srimad Bhagavatam Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai Kol Kartal Ki Jai Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande Dandavada
Srilekha Devi, Dasi, Ki.
Haribol.
Well, please don't leave if you can. I'm supposed to
Here, have
do
a
a little
seat.
squawking up here.
It's all set up already.
Go to
like it my favorite walk on the earth.
Hare Krishna. Is this actually an amplifier or is this just for that?
We're gonna be right back.
All right, good. Thank you.